Hey everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be creating the builds for our second episode of a series of unfortunate events, the Reptile Room. And I know in our last video we made 8 builds. In this one there's really only like one setting in the Reptile Room, and it is Uncle Monty's house. And if you know anything about this home, about this part of the story, then you are aware of the fact that this house is insane. It's huge. So I'm content to spend a whole video on it. They also were at a movie theater for all of like 10 seconds, so we can throw one of those together as well, but I'm not as concerned about that. Okay, so we're gonna build a super tall tower back here, and then I want to add these little half circle pieces on either side, and then I want them to go as far in as we can here. These are actually maybe a little big, and then let's see, because we want to connect these, I'm going to go in and make one of these a little smaller up here, like maybe this size. Anytime I have to build with rounded rooms, I'm just like so irrationally irritated. Actually, you know what? No, it's not irrationally irritated because building with rounded rooms is terrible. Okay, and so what I do to connect these sometimes is I remove the rounded wall and then just create a new room here. Okay, so now we have this for our shell so far. This is literally only the snake part of it. And then we do have out front like another actual house part of it. So let's do that. I think we need to go in and roof. I think that will help. We need like a room in the middle here. All right, so now let's get a hipped roof in here and we can copy this everywhere. Let's do a nice fence here. We can put like a roof sculpture in here. And then let's get a round roof up here. It's going to be humongous. And then we also want it pretty like domed out like that. And we want the paneling here. We also want a round roof on these pieces here and like a half hipped roof connecting them here. Okay, this is looking nice. For a roof trim, we don't have glass, right? You can just do a gray there, right? Something like this. I'm cool with this. And then as far as the actual house goes, I feel like this little like concrete slab does what we need it to do. The house itself is like a tannish color. We could do something like this for the outside because it does have that trim there. As far as the rest of the house goes, this part is like a green metal, if we could do something like that. Although we have this, and even though it's wood, I think that green looks nice. Let's go through and add doors and windows. I do want like huge windows down here. I might do these ones from Industrial Loft, and literally we'll have them going around the entire reptile room. And then I literally think I will just repeat them up here. Okay, so now we have this going on. It's starting to look really cool, I think, actually. And then we'll want a green door. I actually am potentially not mad at this cottage living one. And then let's also just do some columns here. We can paint in a little walkway here. And then over here, I do want to make the maze before I forget. And I think what I'm going to do is just take this starter hedge and like stupid exhaustingly make loops. So with this kind of started, I will go and finish that up because it's going to take forever. All right, so we have our little maze here now. I tested it. It's functional. It leads to this little statue in the middle. And then we can go through and do the rest of our terrain paint here. And then I think we can just add like some flowers around. I do really want to add a lot of the animal topiaries. Also, I'm going to do this one in the center here. And I honestly low-key want them to be kind of big. We can add a bunch of grass in here. I also think because there are snakes in this one, we can kind of make it look like snakes with this like horseshoe topiary. Okay, right? That way it kind of looks like 2 snakes coming out of there. Over here, I also feel like we could put in like some bigger trees. I feel like this oak tree is always one of my go-tos. I just think it's really pretty. I think over here we can do some plants of like varying heights. Like that looks really pretty. We can put this like weirder looking plant out here on our little like porch. Okay, and with that, I feel like our exterior of Uncle Monty's house is done. I think the maze looks really nice. The topiaries are pretty. And we've got our big glass roof and everything. I honestly am like very content with this. So then we can move on into the interior. So then I think we can go in and do maybe like the house part first. So Monty has a pretty like busy wallpaper. They have like the secret door here with all the bells and whistles. If it fits, I might actually do this Batu one in here. And then there's like bookshelves on this wall. We've got our bookshelves here. And then I just want a bunch of stuff on the wall that could potentially make it look like this is high tech to get into. Okay, I think this looks like enough tech mumbo jumbo. So then we can come out here. We don't have like a ton of room necessarily. This house has like rounded staircases, which we definitely cannot do. But I think we might be able to do something like this, and we'll put the same ones over here. Okay, I think that looks pretty nice actually. We can get a brown railing. And then these rooms are probably like not canon, but we need a kitchen and a dining room. So I'm trying to find a way to make that look like seamless. Oh my gosh. Also, hang on. Sorry to this Batu door. I thought I liked it. This is so much better. There, that's giving so much more like high-tech security system door. Okay, wait, what is this? Door of perception. Okay, wait, stop. It's another bookshelf door. Okay, we will do those. And then, oh my gosh, that's perfect. Have doors right in there. Okay, and then it looks like there's a ton of rugs. I might start with this like wonderful set from Laundry Day that has like 3 bigger rugs. We can do another one of those over there. I love that they have them separate. And like another one of these over here. Lots of rugs. And it looks like there's lots of seating in here. We're definitely not going to be able to do a lot, but we can do in each of these nooks little seating areas. I think this like horse ranch chair is really nice. And then like a brown one here. And then we can just do an end table by them. I don't think I like these. Let's do these book nook tables. We can do a little ottoman here. And then this one can have a little stool. For lamps, his are snakes, but I definitely want to do the one that looks like the dragon. Like it's just too perfect here. Like, I feel like this could pass as a snake, right? All right, let's get a big table in the center. So we have this little coffee table here. And I think we can put the dragon on here again because it kind of looks like a snake. I mean, it's kind of the closest to snake decor we're going to get in The Sims. We have our little Lieb, Laugh, Lurv sign that literally looks like a snake. We can throw on like a little tea set, maybe like a knit turtle because we don't have like a statue for one. And then let's also just throw like a little speaker in here. Okay, and then Uncle Monty's walls are full of like portraits and things. So I'll go through and add a bunch of those and then we'll be finished up with this area. All right, so all cluttered up. Here is our living room area. I actually really love this look. It's so homey. I love the paintings on the wall. We've got our little reading nook areas. And then this table in front that leads back into our secret entrance to the reptile room, which in hindsight is a little bit bigger than I thought it was. I did go through and throw together the rooms that we don't see in the show. So I gave them a kitchen. That way Sims can still live here. And the kitchen is just basic. I did use the weird like get to work fridge because my assumption would be he has things for the reptiles in there. And then in here I just threw together a dining room. In the show there is a scene where they're sitting at a dining room and it's literally just a table, so I feel good about that. And then I did go upstairs and again things that we don't see at all in the show or in the movie. A bedroom here for Monty, all of the essentials. I gave him the vet table so that he can work on the pets like right here. We threw together a little bathroom for the Sims. And then it sounds like he was very prepared to host the children, very excited about it. So I did throw together this kids room that has kids toys and a robotics station, some beds. I gave vegetables to Sunny and just like this area for the Baudelaires to sleep in this really long bedroom. And so now we can go here into the actual reptile room. One thing I do want to start with is there are columns kind of all over here. And I don't really know like what I'm doing here, just kind of placing them around. And I think I'll do just some here. I want to do just an absolute like ton of bookshelves, maybe lining like this back wall here. All right, so we have like our bookshelves there. Am I going to torture myself by making a second floor? I think so. All right, so we've got our bookshelves here. I think that's looking nice. I do think it would be nice to get like a few hutches in here. And I'm just going to throw them around kind of like randomly, and then we can fill in. Over on this side, I want to add different looking bookshelves. All right, so we have another little bookshelf area here. But this one, I think because they're taller bookcases, we will leave as one story. And then I will link it for you guys. I do not try to use any custom content in my builds. However, like outside of this series, since I am big into animals, I have all these like animal packs. They're all made by the same creator, and I will link that in the description. But I am going to use them in here because I think they're just perfect. It also comes with this like ceiling rope that is for birds, but I feel like it kind of looks like a snake. So I feel like we could hang this around different places as like snake-y decor. All right, so I added like one of everything from that custom content pack. And then like, unfortunately, probably for food, but I want to throw in some of the My First Pet Stuff rodents. I feel like we can put them along the wall. But like, I think this large terrarium, I think I want to add like 4 of those here. Like this, I think could be where the incredibly deadly viper goes. I feel like these can be like more in the center, honestly. Like there's some of the main like fixtures in the room. I feel like we can go in and make this terrarium shelf area like double-sided. And then we have all of this like food and cleaning supplies and things like that I think we can put in the hutches and the shelves. All right, let's go in and fill these with a bunch of the terrariums. All right, so we've got a bunch of like our lizards here. We can add like another little lizard terrarium shelf here, this time with just big ones, so it's like they're all right there. And then I think we can do just like one more here, and maybe actually this is our incredibly deadly viper. I don't know. We can go in and get a table, a few of them probably. We have like these ones from Businesses and Hobbies that aren't bad. I might actually make like 4 of them. We can add these get to work like formal bar stools here. And then we can just put a bunch of like science and tech clutter around here. I also think we can add like some book clutter all around. We're definitely getting somewhere. There is also a little like reading area over here where we can do like a few different chairs. And with this little just like reading nook done, I also think it could be cute to do some vines and plants in here. So I'll go through and add plants, and after that we should be good to go. All right, and then all cluttered up, here is our reptile room. I added a bunch of plants, a bunch of clutter here and there. I think it actually turned out really good. I was a little bit nervous about how big this space was, but I do think it resembles what I would assume Uncle Monty's room looked like. Again, like huge shout out to the custom content for the terrariums and stuff. I feel like that makes an absolute world of difference. Although I do think you could recreate a similar build with aquariums. And so with this complete, that will be the entirety of Uncle Monty's house. And truthfully, like the only other setting in this aspect of the story is the very standard movie theater. So this is going to be the only build that we need for episode 2 of our Let's Play, which is nice because then I think we got to focus a lot more on this build. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please feel free to leave a like or comment and subscribe for more videos like this and to see our Let's Play where we use this build, episode 2, the Reptile Room. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.